Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today is the 23rd of May. It's 11 a.m. Central European Time, 10 a.m. in the UK, and probably a lot later where you are watching. What are we going to go through today? Well, can anybody else smell all-time highs? That's the question for today. We are sitting just below 70,000. We've been there now for a couple of days. I'm going to go through why I think 74,000, the target I've had on the screen for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think it is within reach. We have, as always, come to the most critical point in crypto history. We've got some massive news from what happened last night in America. We've got some huge news coming about Ethereum ETFs this afternoon. So as always, it's the next most important date in the crypto calendar, and we are living through crypto history. Don't forget that. All of these things that are going on now will be written and talked about in the future. You are in the middle of history being made. Don't forget that. It's very important you understand this is a marathon, it is not a sprint. So what we're going to go through today is we're going to go through, of course, the ETF news. We're going to talk about how that is going to impact on XRP. We've got some news about Bitcoin integration into one of the most popular wallets in the world and why that's important for adoption, for interoperability, for Bitcoin, for everybody. We're going to go and have a look at Litecoin. Believe it or not, we're going to have a little look at Litecoin just for Tariq again. We're going to look at Link and what Link is doing. We had a recommendation yesterday from Only You, I believe, asked us to take a look at 3. So we're going to do that. And final thoughts isn't going to be final thoughts. I'm going to re-share the airdrop link for the token that we found on Solana, because most of you or some of you may not have been here yesterday. There is a free airdrop of a Solana meme token. I think it goes live on Sunday, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to drop the link to that at the end of the show. Now, if you're new here, or if you're not new here, what's important for the algorithms is you say hello, comment in chat, smash the like button, smash the follow button, smash the love heart, whatever you've got in front of you, hit all of those buttons. It's important because it then tells the algorithm that people are actually here and you're not half asleep. Good morning, Only You. I'm going to do 3 today. I don't know if you logged in time to hear that. I'm going to look at 3. You asked for 2 coins yesterday. I'm going to look at 1 very briefly. Good morning, JC. I hope you are well. Who else is here? Kishan is here. I have a poll for today as well. The poll is very simple. Are we going to see a $100,000 Bitcoin in 2024? That is the poll. It's only been running for 10 minutes. 71% say yes, 29% say no. Make sure you answer the poll and we will get on with the show. I think Mags is here as well. Before we get into the X-Files or anything, we will have a look at the markets. Market cap is 2.59 trillion. This time last year, I believe we were under $1 trillion. So we've 3x'd, almost 3x'd in a year. Incredible. So we're up. Volume is down just a tad, under 100 billion, but we are having a cool-off. Remember yesterday, we're at the gates of Mordor, we've charged in, we've looked back, the army is still behind us, we're out there on our own, killing the orcs. We need to wait for the army to catch up, and that's going to happen, hopefully, this time next week or the week after. We will be smashing that $74,000 target. Bitcoin dominance has fallen below 53%. ETH dominance is up to 17.6. Bitcoin coming in at 69.7. ETH 38.18. I haven't bought the hat that I'm going to eat. Good morning, Kabir. Good morning, Bullish Bull. But I will be eating a hat live on air. Maybe we'll do it when we get to $4,000. Who knows? That's probably around the corner as well, so I'm not going to speak too soon. What's gained then? Bitenza is up 14%, Jasmy 7, Ondo 7, Dog with Hat 6.4, Gnosis 6. Bonk is still moving up. It broke $2 billion, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. It's now at $2.3 billion. Bonk is starting to move. Casper is up. Pendle is up. A lot of nice gains. I like to see 5 to 6 to 7% gains. It's not overly Moonboy. It's not underwhelming. 5% in a day. Well, remember, if you talk about stocks and shares, 5% in a year is good. So in crypto, we need to remember 5% in a day is very good. What's losing then? Render is down a touch. Render might not be a bad price if it continues to fall. Tron is down. ICP, again, a good price for ICP, coming in at $12.60. Avalanche coming in under $40, also a good price. DYDX, that is down. I believe there is a token unlocked. Good morning, Peter. Welcome to the show. And Kabir says 99k max. Kishan says 100k yes. I think the battle of the centuries will take place at $99,000. Anyway, that's enough from the gainers and losers. We will get on with the X-Files. As always, I'm trying to get through as much information as I can in 1 hour. We are trying to get these shows done in an hour. We appreciate that you could be watching Netflix, you could be watching Amazon, you could be watching, I don't know, Ben Armstrong, Ben Cowan, whoever, but you're here with us. So I'm trying to get you as much information as possible in an hour. Now, there's a lot of talk on the show at the minute about ETFs and American Congress and all that kind of stuff. But it's the biggest news at the minute, and this is history defining politics. The American government has carried out a 180 on crypto. They've switched from bearish, hating crypto, to now being bullish. Why? Because Trump, because Kennedy, because everybody else is bullish, and they realize they can win votes. And that's how fickle governments can be. They don't care about looking after you. They care about your vote. Two totally different things. Can't work out why Uniform Protocol is flying again with no news. It's weird. I can't say those words on air, Peter. But we are going to have a look at 3, which is another coin, very small. And you have to understand, very small orders on coins that have a very low market cap can just pump coins out of nowhere. It could be a pump and dump. It happened a few months ago with a coin called Trella, where it was a good project, not the best project, and some, I don't know what you want to call them, investors ripped the price up. I made a video very clearly telling everybody not to buy that token, and it was a pump and dump, and it was, and the coin retraced 90% from where it was. Even good projects with low market caps can be manipulated to trigger retail into buying them. And it may just be that, Peter. So, Congressman says CBDCs are a threaten to destroy the American way of life. Unlike decentralized digital assets such as Bitcoin, CBDCs are monitored by the federal government. This is a US congressman saying this. This is a US congressman saying that Bitcoin is better than CBDCs. Incredible. Again, some of these things I'm saying to you, I'd never have expected to have said these words 3 or 4 years ago. These are, as I said, history-making moments. BlackRock has just filed its updated spot Ethereum ETF application, including the 19B4 form. BlackRock has a history, I think, of something like 600 successful applications and 1 unsuccessful application. So we have a 99.99% chance of this Ethereum ETF happening, and I'm going to give you the time frame for this as we go through these X-Files. There is a few of them today, and they all are kind of interlinked. So the Ethereum ETF, they want the 19B4s tomorrow. Now, down here, James Seifert, another expert. Good morning, Gianni. I think that if they work extremely hard, it can be done within a couple of weeks. But there are plenty of examples of this process taking 3+ months historically. Obviously, this situation is nothing like anything that's ever historically happened. So, the SEC are trying to rush through the Ethereum ETF application. Why are they trying to rush it through? Because if the Democratic government can turn around and say, there you go, you've got your Bitcoin ETF, you've got your Ethereum ETF, and last night the historic vote that allowed the pro-crypto bill to be passed in America, which hands control of crypto over to the commodities, the CFTC, which we spoke about yesterday. Billionaire Mark Cuban on the White House now wanting to work with Congress to develop a regulatory framework for digital assets. I think this is just the start of the shift. Absolutely. We are ever so close to having a pro-crypto government. Whether it be Democrat, whether it be Republican, it doesn't matter. And this sums it up perfectly. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. That has been said by Mark Yusko, very famous person in crypto. He said that 3 years ago. And guess what? We've won. And there's no other way to look at it. We have won. So people that have been calling crypto a scam for the last 5 or 6 years can take a very long walk off a very short pier, because 90% of crypto in its current guise are scams and projects that aren't going to make any money. But this is why you need to focus on large caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, even Cardano and XRP. Now, finally then, from the X-Files, the LFG Round 3 vote is now live. Make sure to read the forum post before voting. If you hold Dupe, if you have it staked with Dupe, you have a choice of 3 projects to vote for this week. Why is this important? Because one of those tokens that wins is going to be listed on the exchange that you're on. Perfect example was, of course, Sharkify. That's now listed. Before that, you've had Zeus token. That's now listed. So voting in the Jupiter DAO with your Dupe tokens gives you tokens that come to your exchange. So you vote, you take your tokens, you put them onto your Phantom or your Solflare wallet, you send them to the exchange that you're on, and then you can trade them. That's the way you should be doing it. Build up your portfolio on the exchange that you're on. So this is happening for the next 2 days. I've already made a video about it last week. I'm going to make a second video about it today with all the links you need to go and vote. And that is the end of the X-Files. Some comments. So, Cream Farm, Unify, or all previous cycles, DeFi coins, they are all very low versus their all-time high, just increasing because whole market is up. Exactly. Everything floats on a tide. So as the tide rises, which is Bitcoin, everything will float with it. That includes Solana, that includes some of these smaller coins. But remember, what is important is these cycles that we have. Is this going to work? I think this will work, this link. These cycles that we have come in waves, very much like the sea again. Bitcoin is going to hit its all-time high before anybody else. So it's going to rip up maybe October, November next year. Then, as the money starts to come out and goes into maybe Ethereum, Solana, then we will have the alt season. Bitcoin goes first. It's the alpha male. It's the lion. It needs its share, and then it will walk away, and then the rest come along and feed. And that's what Bitcoin is going to do, hopefully in around about 15 months from now. Something like that. We had a double top in the last cycle, which was April and then November. Now, there's no reason why we're not going to replicate that. Remember, history does not repeat, it rhymes. We might not have a double top next cycle because last cycle it was to do with the pandemic. So let's see where we are at in April. Maybe we have a double top that fakes you out and you sell in April thinking it's the top. We then have a summer lull, and then we have another rip up in November. That could be a scenario that plays out, or we don't, and we simply get carried along, going higher and higher until we get to November, and then we have our all-time highs, and then we correct. And the big question, which will be the next question after we've had this bull cycle, is, given that we've now got ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum, just how low are we going to go? Previously, we've retraced 90%, 70%, 60%. This cycle, are we going to come back? If we do get to $150,000, $250,000 for Bitcoin, are we going to come back to $69,000, the previous all-time high? Is that going to be our new low? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the ETFs have just shifted the entire crypto market up 20, 30, 40%. Maybe we only have a 40% retracement. That's going to be the next thing on the agenda. How far do we come down? Now, this is way too much information to go through in the show. So very briefly, in America, you have ETFs. In the UK, you have ETPs, exchange traded products. Now, what this means is that individual products contain the actual Bitcoin. That's what's important. So it's spot. And in London, they are allowing sophisticated professional traders to buy and hold these products, not retail yet. And Wisdom Tree is going to be one of those offering it. So it's going to go live on the 28th of May. Now that is what? That's 5 days from now. Now, do not expect this to pump the market by 100%. It's not. But we have a giant slab of granite. And every time an American ETF, an ETF in Europe, an ETP in the UK or Hong Kong, every time they take a small piece of that granite, it gets smaller and smaller. And some, such as the American ETFs, they've got bigger chisels. But it doesn't matter the size of the chisel. It matters the fact that that granite block is getting smaller and smaller. And eventually, we're going to end up with pebbles. And that's when we get the supply shock. So this is just a little bit like, what's that game called where you have a donkey and you load the donkey with various different items? Buckaroo, is it? And it kicks everything off. That's what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Each thing that's added just makes the supply less and less. And that's the critical part. We don't care if this is £1 million a week. We don't care if the one in Hong Kong is £10 million a week. It's 10 plus 1 plus 20 plus 50 plus 150. It adds up. And that's what's important about this. And London, to give it its due, it didn't go through the rigmarole that they've had in America. It just went, okay, you want to trade Bitcoin, fine. There you go. But you have to use an ETP. And it can only be for professional investors at the moment. For the moment. So amazing news. Again, amazing news. And just because it's not going to be on the scale of the BlackRocks, it doesn't matter. It's the chisels. Everything you read about, whether it be Andrew Tate buying $100 million of Bitcoin, the London Stock Exchange, Hong Kong, they are chiseling away and just taking a little bit more Bitcoin away. Now then, where are we? 69,666. That is where we are. And let's go down a little bit further, just so we can tell you what happened. So here is our army, and here is you. And we have moved an awful long way away from this bull market support band. And over the next few weeks, it is likely to do this. Okay? It's likely to do that. Maybe not as ripped as what I've just said, but it will likely move up. 58,000 is our bull market support band price. We're a good, 20% away from that? Happy days. What's happened with Bitcoin? Well, we came up to the same level, and we talked about this yesterday, but I just want to go over it again in case anybody missed it. We are at a fundamental level of resistance. And that is this 71.5 range. It's a little bit, it's not exactly 71.5. Brogan, or the Oracle should I say, has it at 71.450. A few other people have it at 71.4, 71.6. It doesn't matter. It's around that price. I'm going to digress a minute. Ben Cowen has come out today and said he was wrong. And he's got a big L on his name because he's got everything wrong with Ethereum and he's got everything wrong with the ETF. Now, I replied to him, and he won't read it, but it doesn't matter. I replied to him and said, charts and patterns can only tell you so much of the story. It's like if I gave you a page out of a book and didn't tell you what the book was, and you read that page and you based your assumptions on that page. Now, that could be a page on changing a part in a dishwasher. But if you don't know that this is a dishwasher manual, everything's going to be taken out of context. And when you look at charts, and again, loads of people will disagree with me, but I don't care. When you look at charts, it's only part of the story. If the Ethereum ETF is approved tomorrow and BlackRock buy 20,000 Bitcoin tomorrow, this chart is going to do that. And it doesn't matter what the RSI says, it doesn't matter what resistance is, it doesn't matter, because it will just drain the Bitcoin from the market. It will absorb all of the sell orders, and that's the important thing. You can't just rely on a chart. All things being equal, for example, like now, if we don't get any news for 24 hours, the chances are that Bitcoin is likely to just keep doing this for a little bit. Okay, that's what's going to happen. We've had a bit of a pump up, and maybe if we wanted to, maybe we could make a little bit of a bull pennant out of it, I suppose. We could argue that case. And then we did this, and guess what? Now, again, I'm not an expert. I haven't got a crystal ball. But when you draw things that look like this, and they build confluence with everything else you've drawn, you've got to say there's something in it. And that bull pennant takes us to the price that is previous all-time high. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be right. Now, let's say the Ethereum ETF gets rejected. We're going to come down here again. Okay? So, the chart can only give you an indication of where it's likely to go. RSI is cooled off a little bit. On the 4 hour, if we go to the daily, it's still moving up. So, I can't tell you where we're going to go, because macro events are starting to supersede the charts. And those macro events are things like the American government doing a 180. The Ethereum ETF, the news is going to happen at 4 p.m. in America, which I believe is about 11 hours from now, 10 and a half hours from now. Solo Sky Jupiter LFG voting started yesterday. I'm making a video about it. I've already prepped the video to make. I'm going to make it after the show. If you go to vote.dupe.ag, you can vote. There's 3 to vote for. I'm going to vote for DeBridge. I'm not neutral. I don't care. I don't have any sponsorships with any of them. There's an art, a gambling, and a wormhole type thing. A bridge, which is DeBridge. I'm voting for DeBridge because it has a revenue model behind it. So the point of the matter is, based on the charts, it's looking good. And this target here, which again I've had for 3-4 weeks now, that's the goal. And we are not a million miles away. If you look at the move that we made from here to here, that happened over the course of the 15th of May to the 20th of May. 5 days we did that move. Well, if we spent another 5 days and did the same kind of move, we'd be at 78,000. Now, again, we're close. We're days away. We are days away. The indications are the ETF is going to be approved. The indications are that we're going to get it in June. Now, I've said it's unlikely it might be the very end of June or July. Indications are June, because this is now being pushed through. If it gets approved, we're going to see $74,000 tomorrow, today, whatever it might be. If we come out, and what is likely to happen is the SEC will say, okay, everything's been submitted, everything is good. We're going to go live on July the 1st. The market will pump. If they come out and say, right, we're going to need 2 or 3 months to get this in order, the market will pump a little less, because people want to front run the ETF for Ethereum because they want to buy in before the price goes to $6,000, $7,000. Remember the chart I showed you yesterday about Bitcoin and Ethereum? What's going to happen, in my opinion, is as the Ethereum Bitcoin chart breaks up, people will be selling Ethereum off to buy Bitcoin. And that's, I think, going to not suppress Ethereum, but going to help pump Bitcoin. So it's bullish for Bitcoin. Now, the other thing it does, and I said this yesterday again, I know I'm recapping. If Ethereum is approved for this ETF, It is a proof of stake blockchain approved for an ETF. Bitcoin is proof of work. We all understand it's a commodity. Proof of work is electronic mining. What else is mining? Coal, gas, oil. Makes perfect sense that it's a commodity. If a proof of stake chain, such as Ethereum, is approved, that opens the floodgates for Solana. That opens the floodgates for potentially an altcoin ETF. It's a fundamental shift, and it cannot be underestimated what this is going to do for crypto in the long term. Don't think everything is going to happen today or tomorrow. This is all just pouring even more fuel onto the fire. And again, it will cause a fundamental shift in the price of the crypto asset industry, and we're going to bump up, we're going to shift up. Maybe it adds 20-30% onto the market cap. We don't know. Nobody will be able to tell you. Now, XRP, which I've covered quite a few times in recent weeks, is, I think, on the cusp of settling with the SEC. Now, this hasn't been talked about that I've seen, so I'm going to talk about it very quickly. The government has changed its stance on crypto. What is the most high-profile case we have in America right now? XRP. It's being sued by the SEC. What could potentially be one of the biggest American unicorn businesses in the next 3 or 4 years? XRP. What is likely to happen? SEC will have been told behind closed doors, stop, read between the lines, step down, accept the $100 million that you've been offered, or $50 million that have been offered, close this case. We want XRP because XRP is going to be the backbone of the banking industry in the next 5 to 10 years, whether it be through CBDCs, the ledger, the protocols, whatever it might be. Step down. Now, nobody's talked about this. I think if the Democrats are serious about trying to do a 180, this is a pivotal change they have to make, and they have to tell the SEC to either step down or accept the offer. So I see this finishing in June as well. We're at the 23rd of May. It's not going to happen today or next week. I think the next court case date, I think this will come to closure. What will that do to XRP? Don't listen to anyone telling you it's going to $600. That's BS. I would be very happy with $1 to $1.50 from where we are now. Remember where you are in the cycle of crypto. Don't let anybody sell you $50 or $100 XRP. That's certainly not going to happen. But we'll go through a bit of this. I'm going to have a quick look at the charts, and I'm going to tell you where I think we're going to end up going. Again, no crystal ball here. It's just a prediction. Sometimes my predictions come true. Sometimes they go horribly wrong. So, suddenly 6 trillion Fed inflation flip predicted to unleash a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto price boom. Wall Street analysts are buzzing about a potential Fed pivot. Yeah, I don't think the Fed pivot is as important as the change in the direction of the government. But anyway, so recent data offers a glimmer of hope. The US Consumer Price Index has shown signs of deceleration with a small increase in April and March. It means I have to hold my XRP. Well, I only bought XRP in January 2023. I didn't buy it any time before then. And I bought it based off all the news that was coming out about them in South America, in Brazil, the XRP ledger, the fact that it's in the banking process. So there's reasons to hold XRP. And if you don't hold XRP, go and do your own research on it and decide for yourself if you want to buy XRP. So, Tom Lee predicts a once-in-a-generation event fueled by an estimated $6 trillion in sidelined capital. If the Fed signals victory over inflation, a buying frenzy could erupt. Bitcoin skyrocketing to 150. XRP to benefit. XRP will, of course, benefit. The outlook is bolstered by the wave of ETF approvals, mainstream investors to jump into the market. We know about this. While the SEC case remains unresolved, the possibility of a Fed pivot combined with broader market trends has a promising picture. Now, we're going to skip over this and go to the chart because I don't want to be late. we're not doing too badly for time. We are not doing too badly for time, but I want to get through this as quickly as we can. So, for those of you at the back that don't know why interest rates coming down are good for crypto. Crypto is classified as a risk-on asset. High inflation, high interest rates, low unemployment, booming housing markets are not a good sign. So, what we need is inflation to come down, tick. Unemployment to go up in America, tick. Housing market cooling off, tick. What's next? Interest rates coming down. It doesn't matter how much it comes down by, it's a signal that risk on assets are now desirable. That money is going to come in, and that money is going to come in June, July, August this year, and it's some of it, not all of it, is going to come into crypto. So, what does that mean? For crypto in general, bullish. For XRP, that information with the addition of the court case being closed, we're going to see a few things. Now, this is the daily. Look at where we've struggled at. We've struggled to break 72 cents. We did it there. We did it there. And this wick here. This was the SEC case, part 1, which was trading of XRP on a secondary exchange is not classified as a security. We went to 93 cents. Now that was 75%, 85% of the victory was on this date. And where did we go? We went to 93 cents. Now, admittedly, this was in July last year. When did the bull run technically start? About mid-October. So this news was pre-bull. So, if that was 93 cents pre-bull, and we've meandered along, and what's not good for me is this trend line that we've stuck to, we've sunk below it, and we are struggling to get back up. We are not breaking that fib level, which is 56 cents. Now, the FUD pieces in the press, the FUD coming from these shillfluencers, that could all be the reason. It could also be down to the fact that XRP are selling their token to pay the fine. Now, look at that date, 12th of April. Around the 12th, 10th, 14th of April, it was announced that the SEC wanted X $100 million. XRP wanted to pay $10 million. That happened around the middle of April. So is it a coincidence that XRP rocketed down at that point? I don't think it is. I think this is a combination of negative PR and XRP selling its own token to pay the fine. And there is on-chain data suggesting that they've already sold $10 or $30 million worth of XRP to pay the fine. If that's the case, then we are going to see a tremendous move up. And where would we likely to go to? Well, first of all, we're probably going to break $1 because that's where we went to. And this line over here is probably my target, which is $1.31. Remember, coins have a memory. People have a memory about coin actions. I don't think we're going to go and absolutely smash all-time highs based on this news. It's not that big a news. It's a fine being paid and it's closure. And yes, it goes risk off. But we're not going to see every blue chip company buying XRP the day that this news comes out. So we have to temper our expectations. So the expectations are we break $1, we try and get to $1.30. They are my two targets for XRP. Anything else with people telling you that we are going to go up to $4 ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. We are not going to see an ATEX based on this news. We're going to see $1 to $1.50, and that is that range there, which is quite a nice range to get to. That's a nice range to go up to. If we do go there, at this stage of the market, then yes, we're going to see $5 to $7 potentially at the end of the bull run, which is my target. I'm not going to give you a $600 target for XRP because I'd have to be smoking something to do that, and that's just never going to happen. So bullish news for XRP on the horizon. It could come at the same time as the ETF approval. It could come at the same time as interest rates start to drop, and then what you have is a perfect storm. So the question I've got today in chat, the poll I've got in chat today is very simple. Are we going to see a $100,000 Bitcoin in 2024? Still, I can't believe it's still, unless it's not updated for me. Let me go back in. Still 71% say yes and 29% say no. So if we get the perfect storm, then we are potentially on the cusp of $100,000 this year. And that perfect storm is interest rates coming down, Fed pivot, interest rates coming down, but Fed pivot on the economy in general, stagflation going out the window, ETF application approved, XRP court case being closed, the new legislation coming in and being rushed through in America, then 100,000 is certainly on the cards. That's in my very humble opinion. Now, MetaMask is reportedly working on a native Bitcoin integration. Why is this important? I sound like a goddamn stuck record every day. Regulation and adoption. Regulation and adoption. You can add a third one in there if you want, which is interoperability between chains. We are not going to get adoption without the tools, without the UI. It's not going to happen. And we are not going to be accepted without regulation. If you think that crypto is going to be a $10 trillion asset class without regulation, you are just as bad as some of these Bitcoin maxis out there and Monero maxis out there. It's never going to happen. The banking system and the financial institutions are not going to allow crypto to go on its merry way and get 10, 20, 30 trillion dollars in assets out of their system without regulation and control and a piece of the pie. So we need those two things. This is absolutely fundamental to that. Bitcoin has to be part of a future integration with Solana and Cardano and Ethereum. And I don't mean wrapped versions. I mean the ability for somebody to hold a wallet that contains Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin. It's crazy to think that there are 100 different wallets out there. It's crazy. Trust Wallet, Solflare, Phantom, Kepler, Station Wallet. It's just crazy. So MetaMask are making this move to try and integrate Bitcoin. There's 30 million active users on MetaMask on the Ethereum chain, but they're working on supporting Bitcoin. They've not made an official announcement on this. The move would bridge one of the biggest tribal divides in cryptocurrency space. The wallet application currently supports Ethereum, Ethereum-based tokens, ERC20. You can also plug nearly everything else into, more like thousands of wallets. Yeah, you're probably right. Bitcoin holders need to hold wrapped Bitcoin. My issue with any wrapped token is the vulnerabilities in chains don't actually happen with the chain itself. The vulnerabilities happen with contracts from dApps that sit on top of those chains, and these wormholes and these vaults where one Bitcoin is locked here, one wrapped Bitcoin is released over there. Now, Chainlink are trying to solve this problem. Polygon are trying to solve this problem in a different way, all trying to solve the same problem. And hackers will go after the weakest point, the Achilles heel. And the Achilles heel, in a lot of cases, have been wrapped tokens. Personally, I would never swap my Bitcoin for any synthetic version because you also have the risk of depeg. And what that means is, let's say, for example, you hold 10 wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum chain. You're sitting there, you're very happy because you know it's backed by 10 Bitcoin. What happens if the vault is hacked and those 10 Bitcoin are stolen? Your wrapped Bitcoin is worth nothing. The same with stablecoins. Stablecoins are synthetic versions of the US dollar. You can go to Tether and Circle, and you can look at their testified, I think it's testified, there's probably another word for it, versions of their audit reports, which will show you that they hold treasury bonds, they hold cash in hand, cash at the bank, and whatever. So you know that $1 of USDT is worth $1 of actual money. And if you have enough of it, you can go to Tether and say, cash out my $100,000, send it to my bank account, and you know that will happen. Attested, that's what it's called. Attested reserves. These wrapped versions of tokens can be hacked. They're not hacked on a daily basis, but there is a 0.01% chance of it happening. That's why I don't like them. Now, if MetaMask creates the ability for Bitcoin to be held in MetaMask, it also means that MetaMask, in theory, can start to look at other levels of integration with Bitcoin, such as Bitcoin Layer 2s. We spoke about Stacks yesterday. I'm not happy the way Stacks works, but it's there and it works. So it just opens up the ecosystem, and it's crazy to think that 54% of crypto is Bitcoin, yet Bitcoin really doesn't have that many integrations. And I'm not a fan of ordinals and runes, but some people are, and they should be allowed to do what they want with Bitcoin. The same way as gold. Gold can be held as gold bars. It's not very nice to look at, just a gold bar. People like to wear it as jewelry. So they've found another use for gold. Why can't people be allowed to find other uses for Bitcoin? They should be allowed. Whether I like it or not is irrelevant, isn't it? Totally irrelevant. Right, we're going to move on now. I'm sure when Tariq watches this video, he will fall off his chair because, yes, there are bullish signals on Litecoin. Can you believe that? Now, for me, Litecoin is like, imagine that you've got a television and it doesn't work very well. You can't get many stations on it, but it makes a great coffee table. You just put it down and you put it on 4 stacks of books, and you've turned your television into a book, into a coffee table. Litecoin would make a great coffee table, a digital coffee table, but it won't go away. People like it. It is quick. It is cheap to transact on, but you never hear people talking about it, especially on Twitter. So I'm not going to ignore it because I don't personally like it. I used to mine Litecoin. I'm going to go through it because I know people out there do like this token. And don't forget, there is a slim chance that Litecoin could have its own ETF in the future because it's a proof of work chain. And Bitcoin, proof of work, it's a commodity. Litecoin, proof of work, technically it's a commodity. So Litecoin could have in the future its own ETF, and that would bring the price back up towards $300 easily. So we are going to discover the importance of Litecoin's interplay with the Ichimoku cloud, implications of its spent output revenue ratio, and adjusted OSPR. I don't really care about those things, to be honest with you. So Litecoin has just lately examined the decreased boundary of the everyday Ichimoku cloud, which is a positive bullish signal. The improvement suggests potential upward momentum, particularly if Bitcoin continues to rise to 73,000. My issue is, of course, everything rises with Bitcoin. And I said this the other day about Bonk. It's all well and good holding Bonk or Avalanche, for example. But if you know that everything is going to go up roughly at the same rate as Bitcoin, why are you holding more riskier assets? If you know Solana outperforms Bitcoin, when Bitcoin goes up 5%, Solana goes up 10%. So why would you not just hold Solana or XRP or BNB or Ethereum? Why would you hold other altcoins if you know the entire market raises? When Bitcoin goes up, you're looking for assets that will outperform that rise and assets that will underperform the drop. So you want Bitcoin to go up 5%, Solana to go up 10%. And then if Bitcoin retraces 5%, you don't want an asset to retrace 20%. And that's what most of the meme coins do. They rip to the upside 30, 40%. But then when Bitcoin falls 2 or 3%, they absolutely tank. So you want to hold assets or find assets that outperform Bitcoin on the upside and underperform Bitcoin on the downside. And Litecoin just seems to float with the pack. However, it's at a good price. It's at $90 odd. It did break $100 a few times, especially on the news of the ETF. So there are some bullish scenarios for Litecoin. Now, there's some prices on here, 82, 83. I'm going to go and have a quick look at the chart. $93 according to the article. Oh, I don't have the Litecoin chart. I don't really have time to do the Litecoin chart either. We're going to go and talk about Link next. But $93 seems to be the target for Litecoin. We're currently sitting at $86, $87. So that's a 10% move up. And for Litecoin, I think we should all be happy with any move up, really. Now then, again, these articles like to write in size 3 font, so nobody can read them. Chainlink continues to deepen its entry into RWA tokens, RWA real-world asset tokens with new collaboration. Now, I don't tell you to buy assets because it's not financial advice. You all need to know that. But I told you yesterday about Jupiter. I told you yesterday about what they're doing. And it's still only $1.15, $1.20. I've told you about Chainlink for the last year. Chainlink is the oracle. It's not one of the top, it's the oracle. Nothing comes close to Chainlink. They've had a 4-year head start on everybody, and they are going to run into this bull run at full speed, and they are going to hit, in my opinion, somewhere near $100. I don't know what the price is today, $14, $15. They are going to be a revenue generating, profitable business. They are more important to me than a dancing dog or a meowing cat, right? It makes money. So it's more like holding a share in a company. So the Chainlink collaboration has partnered with Arta Techfin to tokenize real-world assets, aiming to make assets like real estate and collectibles tradable on the blockchain. This initiative could transform the real estate sector by streamlining transactions, which currently take 30 to 60 days in America, and make them more efficient and accessible. Remember, who makes the money out of that transaction? The banks. The banks hold your money for 30 to 60 days. They're making, let's say, for argument's sake, 1%. So on a $100,000 transaction, they're making $1,000 if they hold it for a month, $2,000 if they hold it for 2 months. It's just the way it works. Chainlink's token has seen a significant price increase, reaching a high of $16.80, but investors are cautioned as indicators suggest a potential price correction. Chainlink is the leading blockchain oracle and has taken a significant step in the blockchain industry by expanding its global partnerships to focus on this. And this isn't the first thing they've done. They've been talking with Visa, with MasterCard, with Vodafone, with DHL, with, can't think of the name of the other company that they're in bed with. But you think of a top 50 company that isn't in tech, and they've been talking to them. This partnership aims to bring RWAs valued globally at an astounding $867 trillion onto the blockchain. Again, who else was doing this? Jupiter are trying to do this. Jupiter are trying to do the same thing. And as I said yesterday, even if Chainlink fails and gets 0.1% of the global market, that would still be $867 billion. If Jupiter fails and gets 0.01% of the global market, it's still $86 billion. Now, those numbers might even be too high for them, but we're still talking in billions, not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So Chainlink will always take a small fraction of every transaction. Jupiter will always take a small fraction of the transactions. If you want to buy assets, crypto assets, which make money, you buy into projects that take fractions of transactions. So decentralized exchanges, aggregators, anything that connects the real world to the blockchain. There are small frictions there where they skim a tiny piece off. Chainlink is going to make billions in revenue, absolutely billions in revenue. And it's got a very small market cap compared to where it could be. But it's not sexy, and that's the issue. Now, we're going to run out of time, so I'm not going to evangelize about Chainlink too much. We're going to have a quick look at the chart. And again, go back a year before all of this news, and we were looking at the Chainlink charts back then, telling you that this is an asset to look at. And we were telling you about Chainlink all down here. Now, I'm not going to say I told you so, because that's not what the channel is about. What I'm saying is we've talked about it ranging between $6 and $9, and that's what we were focusing on. And if you'd have traded Chainlink for all this time, you would have bought at 6 and sold at 9. And the only time you would have lost out is selling at that point. So you would have made 12 trades and made probably 50% a trade. So think about that. And that's what Chainlink did. Now, again, we don't redraw our charts every single week. So this chart is where it was when we left it last time we came to it, which looks like it was sometime around the end of April. So I haven't looked at this for about 3 weeks. Now, what's important is we couldn't break $22. We also, if you look at this movement, we went up and we didn't really hang around. So when we came down, guess what? We didn't really hang around. We came down. That's why we need to see assets do this. And that's why having Bitcoin hang around 69,500 for a few days is really bullish, because Bitcoin could have quite easily done this and it didn't. It's gone up and it's gone sideways. So then, Chainlink, let's get rid of some of these lines. Let's go back to the daily as well. Now we're here. So Chainlink hit its target, $20 was the target, hit $22, and then it retested the support band, came up, came back down again, and very much like everything else XRP we've looked at, guess what? It's come down, but unlike XRP, it's actually gone back up, and it's now sitting at its support band. Now, what normally happens, if you look at things like this, when it goes near its support band, it goes up. So I would expect Chainlink to go back up towards $18 to $20. I'm not saying it's going to break up and out, but these bullish news articles that are coming out on a daily basis, they're going to help float Chainlink up. And as I said, it's not the sexiest product in the world. Certainly not expecting people to go and degen in 100% of their assets into Chainlink, but you'd be foolish not to look at it. And if you listen to some proper streamers, they will talk about XRP and they'll be bullish on XRP. So go and have a look at it. Don't take my word for it. I think it's at a good point now. It's below $17, $18. The level here to get back above is 18. That seems to be the level that was support. It might turn into resistance. And then after that, you're looking at $22. And I do think of all the tokens that have a reasonably large market cap, this is the one that could 6x minimum. So $100 for me is the target. Now, let us move on. And we will see what is next. 3. Okay, so this was only you suggested that we have a look at 3 protocol. Now, the one thing I will say about this token, and I don't want to go into it in too much depth, because it has an incredibly low market cap. And because of that, I will never recommend anything this low, if that makes sense. So I had a quick look through the project, got the tokenomics up, and go to the front page. So what they're trying to do is create blockchain versions of things like eBay. So we've got eBay, one of the biggest revenue generating businesses, auctions in the world. 3 protocol are trying to build something similar. That's what they're trying to do. Marketplaces. So have a look at marketplaces. They've got a jobs one, which is coming out, or is already out, sorry. And then they have 3Buy, which is eBay. That's not launching till June, I believe. Jobs is live. eBay is launching in June, I think. Tokenomics, I had a quick look at the tokenomics as well, which I think is in the light paper. I could be wrong. I think it's in here. Now, as I'm not going to go into a deep dive on this because I don't want to, I just wanted to mention it. Now, the team has got a good number of people in here, which I've gone to have a look at a couple of them. They've got a good team behind them. The roadmap, again, the roadmap makes sense. We covered a project in an AMA about 2 months ago, and they were trying to build a blockchain business, SWGT they were called. They were trying to build a blockchain business with two aspects. One was the jobs market and freelancers, and the others was the automotive industry. And they were doing them one at a time. They were doing jobs first, then automotive. And that was the logical path for me. Now, it makes sense to target jobs because in crypto, there might be 60,000 developers. So if they can get all of them on board, then you've created it quite quickly. My issue with the entire concept of 3 and the marketplace is to try and replicate eBay would require millions of people. To do a job site, you need 20 or 30 candidates and maybe 1,000 businesses. So manageable. In this instance, what they've done is they've built the job site first, and nobody's heard of it. And then they've built the, hang on, let me go back to the ecosystem for a second. No, one, stop, go away. Close. Okay. So the Q3, not June, sorry, Q3 is the 3Bay platform, and Q2 is the jobs portal. They're trying to launch them both within 3 months of each other. Now, I'm not saying this project isn't going to be a success, but when you look at a project that has a total market cap of 20 million, I looked yesterday on CoinMarketCap, it said it had a market cap of 1.5 million. So I don't know what the disparity is there. There's 100 million tokens, 20 cents a token. So a good number of tokens. They're all in circulation, so that's a good signal. But you have a token live that went live on April 30th. So they put the token live on April the 30th, and the jobs portal and the eBay portal are not live. So there's no live project. There's no live way of generating money. It's got a $20 million market cap. Where is it going to go? And because they're not live, and because it has this market cap, because the token's live, I think they front run everything. What I like to see from projects, if you look at some of the Launchpool projects that we've covered, especially on Jupiter, they've been live for 2 years. They have a revenue model. They have value in their business. And that's why those businesses are valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars, because they have a revenue model and a profit model. With a project like this, if I had to choose between Aerodrome, for example, and this, or Awavo, I think it was, and this, you're comparing an existing business that generates revenue with something that's still speculative. And for that, this is too high risk for me. I wouldn't invest in this. I wouldn't go anywhere near it. It's not live. Because it's not live, the chances of it failing are exponentially higher than if it was live. And I'm sure if it was live, it would have a higher market cap. Yes, I get that argument. But for me, I would never go near this project. I would never touch it. When the jobs market goes live and you can see active positions and active people looking for work, then it's a different kettle of fish and it will work. eBay or 3Bay is never going to work. It's never going to work this side of probably 2028, 2029. There are not enough people to support a crypto version of eBay. And what is the point of moving in eBay onto the blockchain? What they're going to go into? NFTs? Well, we've already got Magic Eden, OpenSea. So where's the market for it? So for me, it's a very hard no. And again, I can be totally honest and totally neutral on these things, as I am with everything. So for me, this is a no. Now, one last thing. We've managed to get to the end of the stream. and we have managed to not send everybody to sleep today, which is good. So the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to bring it up because we have the free airdrop that we found. I mentioned it yesterday, so for those of you that don't know, I review a lot of Solana coins and now starting to do Chronos as well. So Solana and Chronos coins. Today I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do one on the Jupiter Vote and one on Merry, which is a Chronos coin. But I found this, which is a free airdrop. And to take part in the free airdrop, all you have to do is make a post on Twitter, like and repost their pin post, and put your details in there, and you get a free airdrop. Now, again, this token could go to zero. This token could be worth nothing, but it isn't the point. The point is it's free, and a lot of people out there missed out on all the free airdrops that went on Solana over the last 6-12 months. They missed out on Camino, they missed out on Duke, they missed out on Pyth, they missed out on Bonk, they missed out of all of these airdrops. So what I try and do, if I see an airdrop and I have enough time to tell you, I'll put it on the channel and remind you. So it's Dog with Riz is the name of the airdrop. And again, I have no idea if this is going to be a success. I have no idea if this is going to fail. I don't know anything about the project other than the review that I made yesterday. So that is all I am going to tell you, and I'm going to drop the link into there right now. So hopefully you've seen the link. And excuse me. So that's all you have to do. Go there, Dog with Riz, and go and get your free airdrop. And on that note, it is now 12:02. We've managed to get through everything. You are all legends. The poll results are in. Are we going to see a $100,000 Bitcoin in 2024? 73% said yes. 27% said no. So 3/4 of you are going to be right. And 1/4 of you need to go and look in that mirror, shake your head and say, why do I always go against Mike when clearly he gets everything right all the time? Remember, that mirror and you need to become good friends over the next 12 months. The same way as if you're considering selling Bitcoin at $69,000 and you don't need to sell it for emergencies, you again should look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing trying to sell Bitcoin at these prices? So, Kabir, 99K isn't 100K. I didn't say we weren't going to go over 100K. I said we were going to have the battle of the ages at 99K, which I think we will do. I think what's likely to happen is we're going to go 90, 95, 99, 96, 99, 94, 99, and then we're going to go to 104. That's what I think's going to happen. We're just going to blow straight through. So anyway, enough chittle chattle. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the stream. I'm back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Tomorrow is Friday, a more relaxed stream. I'm probably not going to try and do as much content as I've done today. Remember, smash the like button, smash the follow button. We are at 131,750 followers. Only 250 away from 132,000. The goal for the end of the year is 200,000. We're actually thinking about it 2/3 of the way there. So if you can help us out, it doesn't cost anything to follow us or like us or subscribe, whatever you can do. So make sure to do all of the things you can do to help us out. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Come back tomorrow. I'm live at the same time tomorrow. And as a special favor for me, tell one person today about us. Tell one person today about the platform that you're watching us on. So the exchange that you're watching us on now. Go and say to them, you guys need to check out Crypto Warehouse on the platform that you're on. That would help us out as well, just to get us to 200,000. With all that being said, I'm going to go and record the 2 videos today. 2 videos, one about Merry, one about Jupiter. Until tomorrow, have a great day, everybody, and I will see you in the morning.